please call the roll.
Okay, Matt Conant,
Here.
Nick Avdis, Elena Lee Reeder,
Here.
Ryan Holloway,
Present.
Cyril Shaw, Angelique Ashby, Jeff Harris,
Here.
Rick Jennings, Sue Frost, John Matoli,
Here.
Susan Peters, Patrick Kennedy,
Here.
Phil Cerna.
Here.
We do have a quorum. Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This meeting of SAFEGA Board of Directors is being recorded and will be aired on Metro Channel 14 on Sunday, December 20th at 9 a.m. and also on Tuesday, December 22nd at 9 a.m. And the meeting will be posted on SAFEGA's website within 48 hours after the meeting. As a courtesy, please remember to mute your microphones if you are not speaking. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And with that, do we have any public comments?
I have not received any public comments via email, Chairman Kennedy.
Thank you. Then we are on item number 1, the Executive Director's Report. Mr. Johnson.
All right. Good afternoon, Chair Kennedy, members of the board. Before I get started on my first slide, I do want to mention, you'll notice that at the end of the agenda, we have a resolution of appreciation for Susan Peters. I did also want to mention Chris Burns will no longer be on our board. He asked that we not do a resolution for him. Chair Kennedy and I have a letter of appreciation going to him, but if you get a chance to thank him, if you see him, thank him for his service. So jumping onto my slides, first talking about the federal appropriations. We're down to the wire again. As you know, the federal fiscal year started October 1st. We're on our second continuing resolution, which expires tomorrow. There is a package that has been agreed upon on the appropriations bill. And they've attached the WARDA bill to it, but they've also attached the COVID relief bill to it. And so there's one big package they're going to be voting on. The COVID relief bill still has some issues with it. So two things could happen. They expect to be able to resolve the issues by the end of the weekend. So if they aren't able to vote on it tomorrow, there's discussions of passing a short 2-day additional continuing resolution. Some have even mentioned just letting the government shut down for a day or two. So we'll see what happens over the next couple of days. This is important for us. As I've mentioned before, where the continuing resolution we're under only provides about half the funding that is in the fiscal year 21 appropriations bill for Natomas. Plus, it has a work plan funding that will give us opportunities to get some additional funding for some of our projects. And so we're anxious to see what happens over the next couple of days. So, Lindy, if you can jump to the next slide, please. Along those same lines, the Water Resources Development Act of 2020, we have our YOLO study in there. It's been agreed to by both the House and Senate. The House passed it back on December 8th. However, Senate appropriators have kind of objected to a provision in there about the Harbor Maintenance Trust Fund. And so that's likely going to be removed, which means the House will have to revote on it, and then the Senate will vote on it. So they've, like I mentioned on the appropriations bill, they've lumped that into one big package that will get voted on at the same time. So it'll be our WARDA bill, our appropriations bill, and then the COVID relief bill. So hopefully that gets done by the end of the weekend. If they don't vote on the WARDA bill, this is the end of the Congress and all bills die, so they'd have to start the process over. So we're really anxious that this gets moved forward. So, Lindy, if you could go to the next slide, please. So, unfortunately, this should be the board meeting where we are able to thank the board with our holiday party where we bring treats in. We're not able to do that this year, but I did want to take a moment on behalf of the Safeco staff to thank the board for your support and your efforts this year, because we couldn't move forward without it. So hopefully a year from now at the board meeting, we'll be able to do this in person. So that's all I had, and take any questions.
Well, I have to say that Lindy's virtual cookies are not nearly as good.
Yeah, I was going to agree with you, Chair. I'm kind of salivating and I'm feeling very bereft about losing these treats, especially Lindy's cookies. But I'll keep that memory for a year. I can hold it that long.
We will have a St. Patrick's Day party.
For the record,
good.
those are all of staff's cookies, not just Lindy's cookies.
Okay.
Well, I have to tell you something. I wasn't here one time, and one of my fellow board members goes, "Man, I like that meeting. They have cookies, fresh homemade." He doesn't know that they don't have them every time.
Any questions of Rick? Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Johnson. We now will move on to the consent calendar.
And consent items 2 through 10 are in order.
I'm happy to move consent, Chair.
Second by Holloway.
All right, moved by Director Harris, second by Director Holloway. Are there any questions or issues from the board? I take it, Lindy, we have no public comment?
I do not.
All right, then, will you please call the roll?
Matt Thomas,
Aye.
Nick Abdus.
Aye.
Elena Lee Reeder,
Aye.
Brian Holloway,
Aye.
Cyril Shaw, Angelique Ashby, Jeff Harris,
Aye.
Rick Jennings,
Aye.
Sue Frost,
Aye.
John Natoli,
Aye.
Susan Seaver, Patrick Kennedy,
Aye.
Phil Cerna. Motion passes with a 10-member vote.
Thank you. Separate matters.
Separate matters, item 11, resolution number 2020-133, awarding construction contract number 4496 for the Lower Elkhorn Basin Levee Setback Project, Pump Station Project, Yolo County, California, to the lowest responsive and responsible bidder, and authorizing the executive director to execute the contract.
Good afternoon, Chair Kennedy, members of the board. My name is Rena Jawanda. I'm here to present the Lower Elkhorn Basin Levee Setback Project for award of a construction contract. Next slide, please. Levels project location. The Levels project will expand the flood capacities of the Yolo and Sacramento bypasses, benefiting the Sacramento metropolitan area by reducing flood risks in this area. The Lower Elkhorn Basin is located in Yolo County. It's bounded by I-5 on the north, the Yolo bypass on the west, the Sacramento bypass on the south, and the Sacramento River on the east. The Levels project is highlighted in yellow. Portion of the Sacramento bypass north levee and the Yolo bypass east levee widening projects. The Levels project impacts the existing interior drainage and pump stations. Next slide. Timeline history. In 2015, Corps completed the American River Common Features Project General Reevaluation Report. In 2016, Congress authorized the GRR in the Water Resources Development Act, WRDA 2016. Both the GRR and WRDA 2016 include the Sacramento-Weir bypass widening. The 2017 update to the 2012 Central Valley Flood Protection Plan included conveyance improvements to the Yolo bypass. SAFCA and the Central Valley Flood Protection Board are non-federal sponsors to Corps for the WRDA 2016 project. In 2019, SAFCA and DWR entered into a reimbursable funding agreement for design and construction of a Levels interior drainage and pump station projects for approximately $14.2 million. On June 29th, Safeca and DWR entered into a funding agreement amendment number 1 to increase the contract amount to approximately $24.8 million. And then today's consent item number 6, resolution 2020-128, approved Safeca and DWR entering into funding agreement amendment number 2 to increase the contract amount to approximately $31.9 million. And extend the contract term by 1 year to December 31st, 2023. Levels Pump Station project location. The proposed pump station will be located at the bottom of the lower Elkhorn Basin, shown in the green circle. The Levels project impacts the 3 existing pump stations, which will be replaced by a single pump station with a capacity of 160 cubic feet per second. The proposed pump station will discharge into the expanded Sacramento bypass and will be maintained by the Consolidated Reclamation District 537. Next slide. Environmental review permit approvals. Environmental impacts associated with the project were analyzed in DWR's final EIR and addendums number 1 and 2 for the project in compliance with CEQA, and DWR adopted the CEQA document and the mitigation monitoring reporting program on March 18, 2019. Safeca, as a responsible agency, adopted the CEQA document and the 2 addendums at the April 16th board meeting. DWR received all of their environmental permits, including the amended permits to provide coverage for the interior drainage project. DWR adopted addendum number 3 on April 20th for the Levels O&M obligations, and addendum number 4 on June 15th for the interior drainage modifications. Safeca has independently considered addendum number 4 as it relates to the interior drainage project, but not addendum number 3 as it's not pertinent to Safeca's project at the August 20th board meeting. Land acquisition summary. DWR has acquired the property that the pump station will be located on and provided Safeca with the right of entry and temporary encroachment permit. Construction contract award. At the August 20th Safeca board meeting, board approved contract documents for the pump station project and authorized the executive director to solicit for bids for construction contract number 4496. Notice to contractors was advertised on the Sacramento County bid line and in newspaper advertisements. Plans and specifications were available for download from the Sacramento County website. 134 contractors and or subcontractors downloaded copies of the plans and specs. 4 addendums were issued during the bidding period, and bid opening was held on November 12th with 9 bids being submitted. Bids were reviewed to determine the presence of any math errors or other anomalies per the specifications in bid form. Bid amounts and totals were presented in a November 25th notice of intent to award letter to bidders. Based on review, the following bids were the parent 3 lowest bids. GSC Construction Company, Inc. in the amount of $7.75 million, Auburn Constructors, LLC in the amount of $7.79 million, and Myers and Sons Construction, LLC in the amount of $7.95 million. The engineer's final opinion of probable cost for the contract was $7.7 million. Safeca staff and consultants have reviewed the bids. Staff recommends that the bid by GSC Construction Company is the lowest responsive bid from a responsible bidder, and staff recommends that contract number 4496 be awarded to GSC Construction Company in the amount of $7.75 million. And Safeca has sufficient funds to proceed with the award now that the consent item has been approved. Board action. Adopt Resolution 2020-133 awarding contract number 4496 Lower Elkhorn Basin Levee Setback Pump Station Project in Yolo County, California to the lowest responsive and responsible bidder, GSC Construction Company, Inc., and authorizing the executive director or his designee to execute contract number 4496 in the amount of $7.75 million. Thank you. Any questions?
Any questions from the board?
Move approval, Chair.
We have a motion from Harris. Is there a second?
Avdis, second.
We have a second from Director Avdis. Any questions, anything from the public? Having heard nothing, please call the roll.
Matt Koenig,
Aye.
Nick Avdis,
Aye.
Elena Reeder,
Aye.
Brian Holloway,
Aye.
Cyril Shaw, Angelique Ashby, Jeff Harris,
Aye.
Rick Jennings,
Aye.
Sue Frost,
Aye.
Don Matoli,
Aye.
Susan Peters, Patrick Kennedy,
Aye.
Bill Cerner.
Aye.
Motion passes with 10-member approval. Item number 12, resolution of appreciation number 2020-134, recognizing Susan Peters for her contributions to the Sacramento Area Flood Control Agency upon the occasion of her retirement.
Well, I'm going to just say a few words. Just Susan obviously isn't here today. Susan being Susan, I knew she wouldn't show for this. She actually skipped out early on our board meeting yesterday, so she didn't have to hear any kind words. But in the occasion that she ever watches this, I did want to say just a few things, and that's that in addition to all the whereases that you can all see on the resolution that's in the packet, I will say this about Susan, and that's that I have not known anybody in my years of public service who has more fiercely dedicated herself to representing her constituents. People, we all have a constituency and we all, appreciate them, but Susan, more than anybody I've ever known, actually would go to bat for her constituents like no one I've ever seen. In addition to that, Susan and I are kind of office mates and have been for 6 years. And over that time, I've come to know Susan and her sense of humor that she doesn't let show as much as she should. I can truly say that in that 6-year period, she has become a real friend. And I will miss her. She always came to Safeco board. I don't think in the entire 6 years I've been here, she's ever missed a Safeco board meeting. And what I appreciated about Susan also, she didn't just show, but she always showed prepared. And so, it's on behalf of Safeco that Susan, if you do ever see this, I'm proud to say that to have served with you. I'm proud to call you a friend, and I wish you all the best. So with that, is there a motion?
Chair, if I might say a word also.
Absolutely.
So I actually work most closely with Susan on the Transportation Authority, trying to pull together the new Measure A. But, you're absolutely right. Susan was always prepared. She had strong opinions about everything. She fought hard for them. And I laud her public service. I believe she took office in 2004. So 16 years on the Board of Supervisors, that is not a small achievement. And she's added a lot of value to the region over those years. So I would be happy to move the resolution.
We have a motion from Director Harris. Is there a second?
Second by Holloway.
Second by Holloway. Any other comments? Please call the roll.
Matt Koenig,
Aye.
Nick Avdis,
Aye.
Elena Reeder,
Aye.
Brian Holloway,
Aye.
Cyril Shaw, Angelique Ashby, Jeff Harris,
Aye.
Rick Jennings, Sue Frost,
Aye.
John Natoli,
Aye.
Susan Peters, Patrick Kennedy,
Aye.
Bill Cerna.
Aye.
Motion passes with a 9-member approval.
Thank you very much. Before we adjourn, I wanted to say one thing, and that's I had the opportunity to walk our new levees in the pocket area recently, and I know it's a flood control nerd thing, but they were absolutely beautiful. We're safer here in the neighborhood, and thank you for staff for all you did to make that happen. And as well as happy holidays to everybody. If there's any board member that has any comments. Okay. Thank you very much. I look forward to seeing you all in person sometime next year. We're adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.